can also think back at last year when we were around this eclipse season and what themes that were coming up too, like what was really hard to look at. And now maybe it's just undeniable, or, I mean, we're getting more pieces of, what is okay, what is not okay. Again, it's this measuring, right? So back to Pluto. Okay, so back to Pluto and Mars and Venus. Okay, so back to the mind. The mind, Libra is an air sign. So this is it's very much in the realms of the mind. And things may have not been very clear. It could have been very confusing because of Neptune, the back and forth, and all this spiritual energy and trying to understand it and trying to, make sense. And it's okay because you know what? We really need to be process oriented. We really need to be process oriented. It's like everything, like we want something, but we can't just like get it right away. We have to like do the emotional work. And so with this eclipse, Venus is in a trine with Mars, right? So what does that mean? There's this, it's beneficial energy. Trines are of like good luck, right? It's like good energy. So like what this is really nourishing where Mars is in relation to this new moon, because it's making a square to the new moon with Mercury. And so we have this very vulnerable, very emotional Mars. And it's like, okay, well, this new moon wants something new. It wants a new beginning. It wants to seed a new cycle, a new 9-year, 18-year cycle, right? We're not going to have these eclipses again for another 9 years, right? Okay, and then 18 years, right? 18 years where Libra is in the South Node. Okay, so in 9 years, she'll be in the Libra will be in the sign. I mean, in the North Node, right? Libra's in the South Node right now, right? So the karmic endings. We want a new beginning. We have this new moon. We have Mercury there, but we have Mars there. That's really holding on to the past about something. And Venus in Scorpio is like in her, she can be like revenge oriented, right? In Scorpio, I don't know, like anyway, it's a water trine. So there is this productive flow. There's like a productive opportunity here to pass resentments and pain. If we can orient ourselves with the right intention, right? To be focused on the right intention, okay? Then we can actually move from the past to have this new beginning that's promised in this new 9-year cycle, okay? Right? This new 18-year cycle, all right? And so, also this change takes time, 3 to 6 months. It's not necessarily be right away, but pay attention to the insights that are coming from the higher realms and your intuition, okay? And so this is the last thing. So there's a lot of, so right, you have the square of Mars with the new moon and Mercury. Right before this solar eclipse, the sun, tomorrow, Monday, the sun is going to be in a cazimi with Mercury. So I think it's the superior conjunction, but doesn't matter. It just basically means that there's a new mind, there's a renewal of the mind. So all the things that maybe since the lunar eclipse and in Virgo season, like the fuckery, let's just be honest, the fuckery, the confusion, the really the things that we were holding on to as far as our victim, right? It's time to let it go, right? And it's time to let it go. And I really feel like the way the planets are moving right now, it's like, you know what, we're done with that. This is a new mind. We can really start fresh and really think about this in a really fair way, because Mercury is in the sign of Libra now, right? So you're going to be balancing the scales. And like, there's this whole thing about like, okay, well, now you have to make a choice. You have to make a choice. Well, Mars is making a square to this moon. Honey, it's going to take a while to maybe come into a place where you're not going to be blowing sideways and having these like blowout fights, right? Because this is a very sensitive energy. And if we can think about things more process oriented, like it might take a few conversations to really really be seen about something, right? If you want to change dynamic in a relationship, which is, again, this is what Libra eclipses are. What Libra wants to balance out is relationship. It might take a few conversations. And it really might be really thinking about what is worth a conversation, and or what is just worth, like, cutting your losses or whatever. And Pisces, Neptune is in the sign of Pisces. So it's not in an exact water trine with Venus and Mars, but the energy is it's like it's kind of there. This grand water trine with the Pisces and Saturn energy is actually there to kind of support and maybe help us move through into a state of forgiveness, seeing a higher vantage point, seeing more with the witnessing mind of the drama that might be unfolding right now in our head, which might all be entirely in our head right now, right? Because we are afraid to voice what we need and what we want and our boundaries. This is totally possible, right? Like, oh my God, no, I can't go there, or that person, or you just want to like cut it, and maybe that's what's needed to cut certain relationships. And it's like there's no deep conversation needed because it's over, right? So there is a big tower energy there, that there is something of a foundation that is a faulty foundation in a dynamic or a relationship, or even in a way that we're relating with ourselves, because the Libra Aries axis, right? I mean, we had a lunar eclipse in Pisces, but it's really this axis. The nodes are in Aries and Libra. This is the axes of me, Aries, the I am, and Libra, the we are. Like seeing yourself in relationship, right? So it's that tension, right? That's being, resolved here. Okay. What was I going to say after that? Right. So, right. So some things just need to be cut, right? Because you see that you're not being seen, and you won't ever be seen in this situation or these group of people, right? Okay. I think that right, the Saturn in Pisces energy is really showing us like what you're really this is what came to me. What do you want to bleed for? Right? Like, what is it that, I mean, it is the martyr, it's a martyr energy, but at the same time, it's also like, again, devotion, the devoted, what are you devoted to? What is important to you? And that's why Venus is exalted in the sign of Pisces. And this is a Venusian, solar eclipse. So this is a value check, what is important to you? Because once you're able to really redefine or like put integrity again into your values, it's going to be really easy to know what to do and what to choose, right? Okay, one last thing, I swear. So like I said, Venus is in Scorpio, Pluto is in the mix, the outer planets are in the mix. I don't know if I should just keep talking and stay in this mental space because we have work to do, but know that the outer planets are doing its thing. Pluto, okay, so Pluto is in a sextile with Neptune, as well as Uranus is in a sextile to Neptune. And so again, this death and rebirth energy is very strong. We are in this time of the zodiacal year where everything's dying, right? And it's not without birth, right? And so there was this quote that my astrology teacher mentioned from somebody, I forget, Richard Tarnas, I think he's another astrologer, in his book, because he was reading off something about these outer planet dynamics. And it's actually really beneficial energy, sextiles. It's like there's this opportunity for really big awakenings and deep growth. And again, like this tower energy of just destroying these really faulty foundations. And Venus and Scorpio, but there's just one last thing. There is dark feminine energy also here. So this idea of transcendence is really strong. So the quote is, if you wish to live, you must attend your own funeral, right? So if you want to live that life, if you want to live, because let's face it, if you're not living in authenticity, if you're not living from your soul, how alive are you? But anyway, be willing to attend your own funeral, and out of the wreck you will rise, right? So this is the Plutonian energy of, judgment, also the judgment card in tarot. It's like the judgment of like in death, like, and this is also something with the Libra energy. It's like when you die, how light is your heart? How light is your heart? Is it light as a feather? It's like the scales, the heart and the feather, right? When your soul is passing through the underworld, right? So it's like this is really the time to, because this is the time in the zodiacal year where you get really inward and introspective. It is a time for release. It's a time for letting go and the fall, right? Like the fall of the sun and the fall of the BS, right? Just like, I don't have time to carry that. I don't want to, this is a burden to fucking carry. All right. So yes, cord cutting, cord cutting, right? This is the last thing. And I know some of you had done the Venus retrograde, like immersion last year. And we talked about Black Moon Lilith because Black Moon Lilith was in that configuration of where Venus was doing her thing. And because Venus is two-faced, she has the Taurian expression in Taurus, right? And then she has the sleeper expression. She goes into the underworld, right? Where you don't see her and you see her. Anyway, so that's here, that's present. And Black Moon Lilith is in the exact degree, her true degree, right? Not the mean, but the true degree on the the new moon, the moon and the sun. Lilith, Black Moon Lilith. Black Moon Lilith is actually a point in the sky. It's the part of the moon that is the darkest in its orbit. In its elliptical. It's the darkest place of the moon. The darkest place. So really, if you want to do some deep ancestral karmic work, right? This is the time. This is like, honestly, this is like the start of it, right? Until February, Mars is going to be there. So Mars is squaring Black Moon Lilith in this manner. Okay, so the scars are deep right now. That's what I feel like. I feel like what I'm trying to say is that the dynamics in your relationships could very well be something that is tapping into a very deep ancestral karma. So in a way, you don't know anything different than that dynamic. And so it's hard to see things right now, perhaps, because you have no fucking idea how to be any different, right? Yeah. It might be a good time to study about attachment style right now. Okay. All right. So I think that's all I wanted to presence. So what I'm trying to say is that the dark feminine is really strong and it's not something to be scared of. It's actually an energy that is urging us to uh be in our deepest emotional space, the emotional spaces that we're terrified of. Like truly. And so this is not really a time to be like making snap judgments or snap decisions. So even though, the energy could be saying to you, or, when you're looking at astrology out there in popular, you know, pop astrology of like, you just need to choose. It's like, well, when we're going through deep shadows and we're doing deep shadow work because Pluto is so strong here, and like I said, Venus was in this square with Pluto right after the lunar eclipse. You might have to really go slow and titrate. When we do shadow work and we see things that we haven't really learned how to make dialogue with, We need to go slow. We need to titrate. Okay. But this is actually really blessed energy. This is really, there's a lot moving. Um, with all the planets, it's just all speaking to um just a deeper sense of um healthy reciprocity, and really being really strong in our integrity around what our values are, what we truly value, how to really nurture family. And that also includes ourselves, how we are mothering and nurturing and parenting ourselves, right? Um, yeah, so that is the energy. That's what I wanted to put forward. So you might be feeling more and more clarity with this Mercury Sun Cazimi tomorrow, and the mind will get stronger and stronger. So I think that a month from now, boy, there's going to be so much more clarity. I think that there's so much moving for the rest of the year, and just to keep your bodies really clean and clear, like this, the Virgo hermit energy, really spend time with really being in your own energy, calling your energy back, sending back all the energy that is not yours. And that being said, we can use that as an object of meditation right now, right? We could be really feeling entangled in dramas in our mind relationally. So, really just dropping into the heart space right now and closing down the eyes, and we'll move into the ceremony of calling the directions and, yeah, creating the container for more awareness and deeper insights.